we're fighting the phones, we're fighting the video games, we're fighting all of that. So once you take that away, then you're developing, okay, let's talk about relationships here. Let's talk to each other. Let's look in each other's eyes. Let's do these group projects. Let's take you outside. Let's take you down to 12 Hills.
Welcome to the Hidden City Podcast. I'm Grant.
And I'm Doug, and we're here to share some of the incredible stories and people from Oak Cliff that you might not know.
We're going to sit down with some of the visionaries, craftsmen, and business owners who have shaped Oak Cliff into what it is today.
Oak Cliff is on the south bank of the Trinity River, a few miles south of downtown Dallas. While technically it was part of Dallas, it was its own city for a long time, and it still has that independent spirit.
We'll dive into the history and the spirit of this place, exploring the different challenges and successes that defined it.
This is The Hidden City, a podcast about the people and the stories that make Oak Cliff extraordinary. Welcome to this episode of the Hidden City Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, an absolute amazing educator here in Oak Cliff, Lydia Torrez. Lydia, thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I feel honored.
We're glad you're here. So, Lydia, we always love kind of talking about our Oak Cliff roots, and you have quite the roots in Oak Cliff. At St. Cecilia, I believe you actually went to school there, started in maybe third grade, and part of a family of 5 generations at St. Cecilia. We'd love to know, what does early Oak Cliff look like to you?
Oh my goodness, early Oak Cliff, yes. Third grade, it was 1963.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was a year to be here in Oak Cliff.
We moved from San Antonio to Dallas.
Okay.
I was a whopping 6 years old, and before we left San Antonio, I asked my mother, do I need to learn how to speak a different language? We're going somewhere new, and I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I think your English is just fine. So we're good. So off we went and moved into Oak Cliff immediately.
Yeah.
And in fact, I did attend one other school. I went to Blessed Sacrament School, and I was sitting there when the infamous day of the assassination of President Kennedy occurred. And of course, we all, good little Catholic children, we were all praying, and the sisters. And but from there, the following year, I went to St. Cecilia's, and I graduated from the school, and I call it home.
That's amazing.
Do you remember that year, or that day pretty vividly when JFK was shot?
Oh my goodness. I can tell you right now, second grade classroom, Sister Winifred, we could hear the police sirens. We didn't know what was happening,
of course.
but we could hear alarms all over Oak Cliff, and the sisters came and immediately rushed the entire school into the church, and we began praying for President Kennedy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was quite vivid.
My goodness.
Literally, and they caught Oswald right around the corner from us.
Yeah, it must have been, not far away.
Yeah, hence the sirens.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you were a student, St. Cecilia, after that, and then you went on to lead it as a principal.
I did, and I not only once but twice.
But twice.
Was it twice? Okay.
So what first drew you back to the school to become the principal, and then maybe what made you say yes to returning again later?
Thank you for that question. So I fell in love with St. Cecilia's. And I decided early on, what am I going to study when I go into college? And so it was this tug between music and education. And all I had to do was take Music Theory 1 and decide music was not where I was going. I was just going to enjoy music. And I went into education. And so I first taught in DISD for 6 years. And so I have great respect for the Dallas Independent School District. I have great respect for all teachers. And but by that point, I was married. My husband and I had 3 children within 5 years, and the decision was we're going to send them back to St. Cecilia. And I looked at him and I said, well, and I think I'll go too. So that's what happened. We're all going. And I had my own little school bus, and ended up driving like 5 or 6 kids to school every day.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Neighborhood kids, my sons. And so,
cool.
That's awesome.
That's what we did.
And
Yeah,
did
my
you
kids
spend-
didn't think it was so cool. But
No.
anyway.
Well, maybe there's some neighborhood kids in it that are kind of fun. You know?
Yeah.
That makes it some camaraderie. And you spent time at Bishop Dunne as well, right?
I
Or is it-
did.
Okay.
I was
good
also a student at Bishop Dunne,
Okay.
and I worked at Bishop Dunne for 18 years. I was their director of development, so I did all the fundraising and marketing and event planning and all those fun things to market the school and bring resources into the school.
We've had a few Bishop Dunne
There's
alumni.
been so many on
feels
the podcast in
Yeah.
the last. I mean, it seems like every other podcast.
Durandon from D for Dapper. One of the
Yep.
guys that works for Nomad Grills was there, and they love. Everyone's just like Bishop Dunne. We love it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
it's amazing. Not growing up in Oak Cliff, but getting here as quick as I could. I've seen like the impact I feel like that Bishop Dunne has had in the neighborhood. It's just so amazing.
A very authentic environment, at
Yeah.
least for me in the 70s. Because in the 70s, I mean, we were literally a third Latino, a third Anglo,
Yeah.
and a third African American.
Mhm.
And but that's just the way it was.
That's
where
just the neighborhood.
it was the neighborhood, and
yeah.
where other schools were trying to create
Yeah,
that.
yes,
You
just
know,
naturally
but
was.
we were just this authentic
Yeah.
place, and so lots of great people and a lot of good has come from Bishop Dunne. My heart is at Dunne and at St. Cecilia's.
I love that, and I do love that cultural confluence that's just baked into the neighborhood. It's not something that, like you said, was
forced
fabricated, or it was just. There's a long history of that in the neighborhood, and that makes for a great neighborhood.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I
Yeah.
mean, you walk side by side with all people from different walks of life, and isn't that what we want?
Yes,
Isn't that what?
yes.
That's part of our own growing, our evolution as people,
Right.
and we learn from each other, and so
It-
that
it-
was
it
very
makes it-
natural for me
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah, you grew up. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it makes it more fun too.
It does,
Like,
yeah.
It's like there's a lot. out there.
Gabriel Beltran.
Okay.
And
Yes,
then
that's
Merced
right.
was also.
Now,
Oh,
Merced
Merced
is the director.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He just is.
He
going
was
for
at Dunne
his-
when I was working there.
Oh, really?
He was
Okay.
Yeah, great young man.
Oh, give
And-
us some stories. What did Merced do? I need to know the dirt. No. Yeah.
He's so
Merced's-
impressive. I mean,
I just saw him in the Dallas Morning News the other day.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
like short films up for some awards.
Yep.
Something small called the
sure
Oscars or
does.
something. I don't know.
just
but-
something small called the Oscars.
That's amazing. Good memory on that.
Well, and it's struck us how like all of those people have gone on to have like really successful, careers or like endeavors in,
And
a variety of
they had
different
the
things.
confidence to go
Yeah.
after. I remember that interview with him too, where it's just like, hey, like I kind of gained some of that confidence more and more to kind of go after what I thought was, kind of a harder career or something that like wasn't traditional.
Yeah.
Well, I feel Bishop Dunne really did a good job with all of our students,
Yeah.
and especially with students who maybe have been overlooked or
Cool.
unseen,
Yeah.
maybe perhaps even forgotten.
Yeah.
And we built that confidence into them because we knew that every single one of those kids was a rising star in his or her own unique
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And that was what we said to the kids. And, when you raise the bar, they're going to adjust and reach for that bar. So, yeah.
Raising the standard. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, it's in them.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
Yeah.
Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. I mean, I can remember Mr. Lund in
Oh,
our
yeah.
high school experience was extremely formative for us and for me. And
Oh, for
I think did exactly what you said, kind of raised the bar and knew that, kids could reach
do-
it. And so
that's
we would,
right.
We're all of a sudden we're going from football practice to studying the Carmen Opera.
Yeah, going
and
to
you're like,
opera
what
club.
you're like,
There
what
you
is-
go.
what
and
is
he's like,
happening?
this stuff is beautiful. You'll enjoy it. And
Yeah.
we're like, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's not too
Nice.
bad.
It
So-
actually
Nice.
is.
Yeah.
Very good.
That was cool. Okay, so moving on from Bishop Dunne, you became principal again at St. Cecilia. How was that time leading?
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
So I'll back up a little bit
Oh, yeah, go
because
ahead,
I was
go
in the
ahead.
classroom for a number of
For
years.
okay, teaching.
Number
yeah.
of years I was teaching middle school math. I was
cool.
the 8th grade homeroom teacher.
Okay.
So the middle schoolers were mine.
That's
they were
awesome.
mine.
There you go. A
And
lot
I'd
of
look
teaching.
at them and they
They knew that.
They
too, I
knew
bet.
it. They
Yeah.
knew. I have one young man who still says to me when he sees me, he goes, when I hear you coming, the hair on my back just stands up.
Oh, goodness.
You're not in middle school anymore. You can relax, I
yeah.
promise.
That's
but
funny.
nonetheless,
that's
great
funny.
relationships with all of those young people.
Yeah.
And so became principal at Mary of Carmel, and
Okay.
then I moved on to St. Cecilia's. And then after St. Cecilia's, I did my stint at Dunne for 18 years, and then COVID hit. I love that. Yeah. COVID hit. There were things, changing in the atmosphere. There obviously the world was changing.
It was a volatile moment. Yeah.
It was, and things were changing at Dunne. And there comes a moment in time when it's your time is up, and it's time to right.
Seasons.
And I completely understood that. I honored that, and I was like, okay. And I got a phone call. And the phone call was from the superintendent saying, hey, we've got a situation happening over here at St. Cecilia's. What do you think? You ready to jump back into the principal's position? And I said, let me think about it. I ran home, talked to my husband, and we both agreed, let's give it a try. This will be my last, this will be it. This is going to be
this is the last hurrah of sorts.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
And
So
I said
awesome.
goodbye to Dunne. Love you guys. Went down the street. Literally left on Friday, and on Monday morning I was in a deserted school.
Wow.
There were only 2 other people in the building with me, and I met the children online.
Wow.
Yeah. I
What
met
a time.
all the
What
children
a wild
online.
time that was.
It had to be so hard.
It was, I got a lot of work done, but
Yeah.
but I met everybody online, and I wrote letters to everybody at homes, and I wrote, I tried to meet all the kids online, and I did as much as I could to connect, because we weren't connecting personally, and so we tried to use some creative methods of connecting with families and kids.
For those who aren't as familiar with St. Cecilia, can you give us a little bit of a picture of what that school or community is like?
Yeah. I say that on the corner of Marycliff Road and Davis, great things are happening.
Good.
Future leaders are being developed. It is a very small community of approximately, we could have 220 kids maximum capacity. 80% of them are Latino. Many of them are Catholic, but we have children of other ethnicities and other faith traditions. And some of them are right around the school.
Yeah.
And some of them are coming from Oak Cliff or Red Oak, from Red Oak, Grand Prairie, and other areas of town. And so lots of generations, a lot of word of mouth, and so we get cousins and aunts and uncles, and you get all of that, and the cousins are there, and so we have a 90-year history, and
cool.
We've been in Oak Cliff for 90 years. We were the second Catholic school to open in Oak Cliff, right behind after the cathedral opened, Blessed Sacrament Church opened, and then St. Cecilia's Church and School opened.
Wow. So
we've been around for a bit.
For a long time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you've been back there since COVID. Looking back over the last, what is now 5 years, I guess, or going into the 5th year. What are you most proud of that, you came back and did, or any changes that you saw and kind of make you think, this is why I came back, or this is a reason that this was worth it?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. And so I recently, last June I did retire, but I've gone back to the school as a consultant for the advancement side of it. But one of the things that I did, I felt like it was a true calling.
Yeah.
And I would walk around my neighborhood, and I thought about what is it that I want to do for the school? What am I going to do? What seeds am I going to plant to really elevate the school and make a true difference? And so as I would walk and I would reflect, and I was thinking and really praying about this, these were the things that came into my mind, and this eventually became the mission statement for the school. One of the things I said is that I want a school that has a joyful environment.
Yeah.
I want the place to be filled with joy. I want it to be filled with love. I want it to be filled with compassion and kindness. I want a school environment that really supports curiosity. And that's where your academic learning. But keeping kids engaged, curious, hands-on, outside, inside, just feeding them that desire to learn. And then I said, I want a school where we pause and we pray. Whether we pray together or we're reflecting together, we're meditating together, but that pause where we give thanks. And eventually that all became part of the mission statement, and that's the environment that we've created. And we have what we're calling our Blue Ribbon Initiative, because I am convinced every child in their own way is uniquely talented. It's a matter of just meeting the child where he or she is at and then allowing them to blossom and grow.
Wow, that's amazing. Hey, Doug, so this is an ad, but we are actually sitting in the podcast studio at WAC that is available for people to use.
We want people to know. You can get a podcast membership at WAC. It's $180 a month. It comes with studio time. Or you could also just rent studio time, $60 an hour. And then we also have, Grant, we're putting a little special together. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've got a 15% off special exclusive to the Hidden City podcast. So if you use the code Hidden City 15, Hidden City 15, we will get you 15% off. And it's great. Yeah. It's turnkey. You walk in, all the equipment is there for you to use. It is super easy to get up and going. So if you're a little intimidated, you don't need to be. It's there, it's ready, and it's there for you to enjoy. So if you go to the wacspace.com/podcast studio, you can find out more.
Start your own podcast. Start recording in here. We built this for people to come in and do this. So we're excited. Yeah, that's an amazing philosophy. And I think too, I'd love to hear more about just like how does kind of your faith obviously is a part of this whole thing. So like, how does that apply to education? I know, not to call you out, Grant, but
call me out,
someone's done his or is doing his master's in a Catholic university.
Yeah,
right?
Over at University of Dallas. Been working
like
very
Catholic?
slowly.
No, but it's like, hey,
master's.
the Catholic like education system is like just interesting to me too. Like, how does that this kind of I think
what's unique about a Catholic
heaven
education too, I think is a great question.
Yeah.
So the most unique thing that I can say is the fact that, our faith is intertwined each and every day with the content area. So regardless if you're talking about math, and then you're looking at patterns in nature, and you're looking at numbers, and where's all of this coming from? You're talking about science, and you're talking about biology or the anatomy or chemical reactions. Where does that all come from? Where does it start? You're talking about
kind of like these deeper questions.
Yes,
is that what you're saying? Like, or maybe
you're able to explore that with your faith and not just keep it very sterile.
It's not so black and white.
Yeah, because there's more to life than that. Life is gray. It's all gray. And so when you're able to have that intellectual conversation along with the sacred conversation, whatever word you want to use to describe it, it just makes life a lot more interesting. And it also makes life more, as best as we can understand it, it just makes better sense. So even when you're disciplining a child, you're going to discipline with love, but what's the root word of discipline if it's not disciple? The followers. And who are we following? We're following the model of Jesus Christ, our God, our Father. So it works for me.
I like it. I'm drawn to it. I like the I feel like there's a little bit of a dying of the modern self that's just like, oh, it's all just this one way. And it's like, oh, I'm actually, there's another side of this coin that is
there is definitely
can give you deeper understanding. And not that it's all about knowledge, but we're all trying to figure out stuff and learn and pursue and there's that side.
I really honor to the younger families or younger generations who are really wrestling with that whole question of God. But yet, they've chosen Catholic schools because, if anything, think about the virtues. Like the virtue of the month this month for us is heroism. Who are your heroes? Who are these people that you
It's
want
nice
to
having a
follow, that you
system.
want to
Yeah.
emulate, that you want to be like? Whether it's Mother Teresa or whether it's like today, it's the saint of the day is Saint Ursula, and she just happens to be the patron saint of Catholic education.
Oh, wow.
Look at
So,
Is
that's
that-
my daily prayer. This is part of what I read and as I prepare for the day. So, yeah, it's just cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history to it. You were about to say,
Well, I like this. I forget who said it, so don't
no, we'll fact
forgive
check
me.
you later.
But the idea that you're thinking God's thoughts after him is sort of a way to understand your own education, especially in a Catholic or any sort of faith-based education program. It's like you're learning what God already created or thought.
Oh, yeah.
And you're kind of following in the footsteps of his own thinking.
What would that be like?
Well,
like,
even-
hey, Big
yeah.
Bang Theory. God spoke this, and now it's like you're trying to figure out how it came about. Like,
Right,
I don't know, is that
right.
an example?
Yeah.
Like, where do we come from? That kind of deeper questions of sorts.
Or like you were talking about a minute ago with numbers and just the patterns of life and how that is, there's a deepness there. If you have the curiosity, which would be my next question for you, is how do you foster that curiosity in kids today? Because I feel like probably more so than ever, they're bombarded with.
They're just talking to ChatGPT now. And
Yeah,
they're like, hey,
there's so much, there's so many roadblocks to curiosity, and we have this like instant ability to satisfy our curiosity with our phones or with technology. So how do you go about fostering curiosity?
Nurturing that curiosity is the challenge. That is the question.
Okay.
Because we're fighting the phones, we're fighting the video games, we're fighting all of that. So once you take that away, then you're developing, okay, let's talk about relationships here. Let's talk to each other. Let's look in each other's eyes. Let's do these group projects. Let's take you outside. Let's take you down to 12 Hills Nature Center, and let's go down there and let's find out, what are the native plants? What are the native animals? What was here before all of these buildings and all of us were here?
Yeah.
And so you have to engage them in a different way. Now, obviously, we have curriculum, that you have to follow, the benchmarks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But how we deliver it, that's where you're going to engage the kids, create the fun, and not be afraid to lose some control with the class. So I always called it organized chaos.
Yeah.
And if you can keep organized chaos and you create a relationship with that child, those kids will be right here in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. In creating that environment, I think, what was it, Jonathan Haidt's book, the one that it's the Anxious Generation, was talking about all the not just phones, but it was high data phones, access to like internet pretty much in your pocket was like one of the moments that so much of this maybe curiosity died and/or some of the anxiety started growing, and a lot of these issues that I think now everyone's like, oh, there's problems, and we now have to figure out like how to do this in a healthy way. Did you in middle school does feel like one of those times too where you're like, this is like, how do you create this environment apart from some of the stuff that does allow for curiosity? Do you see that as a problem at St. Cecilia, or like the technology side of some of this stuff, or how does that come about?
In order for us to be competitive, you have to have. It's finding the balance. And also educating our families. Our families that they cannot. It's just not wise to have technology as the babysitter. And having that family time, and having a real dinner time with families, and having those conversations instead of those are so important. And if we can educate our families to go back to some of those traditions that are so time honored and real, and you can really find out what's happening in your child's life if you just have a conversation with them. So is it happening? Sure, it
course,
does happen.
Of course, it's the time we're in. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but being aware and continuing to educate not only the children but families, and then balancing it within the school day. So.
Well, that's a good answer. That's great.
As you think about, I mean, you were in education for so many years, and just going off of this conversation of how things have changed, when you look forward, where do you see the challenges existing for the next generation of students, for kids, grandkids that are going to be coming up in a new learning environment? And what gives you hope, I guess, when you think about the future of education?
Yeah, wow. So I was, Chat GPT came out, and so my principal at St. Cecilia's, she's a techie. That's her degree. It's all in technology. So she was saying Chat GPT before anyone else was saying it, and I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Right.
And she was giving workshops to teachers about 2 years ago, truly, before it was hitting. And it was shortly right after that this whole AI explosion happened. And so that worries me. That really worries me. I mean, I just don't, right now, I don't even have, I can't, what do you mean, ChatGPT? What are we doing? How are we going to manage this? Where are we going? So that
exporting your thinking to that, is that what you're saying? Yeah,
exporting our thinking or just using it. I understand using it as a tool, but who's going to enforce this? Are you really going to use this as a tool, or is this become? So I don't understand that stuff.
Yeah.
It's beyond what I can imagine. And so where's my hope?
Yeah.
My hope is in the creativity of our people and our young people, and just, okay, let's be creative and don't let this become something that rules us instead of we rule it.
Right. Right.
That's good. It feels like the internet a little bit to me in some ways. Like,
yes.
Like it's kind of like, okay.
When the internet, it was that seismic of a shift. I think you're right.
But also like you're saying, I've heard that too, where it's like, how do you use it as a tool and not let it become your overlord of sorts?
But it is one of those things that I think Harvard did a study about the brain activity while using ChatGPT, and I mean, I think, I don't know, if they concluded basically your critical thinking skills just
they plummet.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
you just become an inputter.
Yeah, you're just prompting. You're just prompting a robot.
So,
answers,
but then who's the robot?
Right. And who's that's a good philosophical question. Who's
And that's when you bring the other half to the side of the conversation. What is knowledge? What is truth?
Right. All right, pilot.
All right.
Well, I think I appreciate your honesty, because it does feel like a big thing that I don't think there's a lot of clear answers yet, really, on how that's going to work for students. But I think you're right, Doug. It's like it can be a good, useful tool. It's like, how do you keep it within those bounds as useful? And we didn't really do that with the internet. So
well.
So it's like, I don't, All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break to ask Doug a question. Doug, have you ever done Pilates before?
No, I have not, but I'd be interested. What's up?
Well, if you're ever thinking about trying, or if you just want to mix up the fitness routine, you got to go check out Oak Cliff Pilates. They're all about community, movement. They're over there in Bishop Arts. They've also got a new location in Uptown. It's pretty sweet.
Dude, and they're hooking us up. I think Hidden City listeners are getting $10 off their membership for the month, right?
That's right. They use code HIDDEN.
That's it. Okay.
$10 off the monthly membership. They're also doing 3 classes for just $25. So you and I are going to head over there. We're going to go try it out. We've never done Pilates before, but I've heard it's great.
It's happening. oakcliffpilates.com to sign up.
So go head to oakcliffpilates.com to book your first class, and then also go follow them online. It's Oak Cliff Pilates on Instagram.
Okay, speaking of the future, and moving away from AI and going back to real life here.
Yes.
Not that AI isn't real life, whatever. Okay, you are serving on the Community Advisory Council for Halperin Park.
I am.
Can you tell us more about that and what that looks like?
My goodness.
Yeah.
First of all, I am thrilled and so honored to have been invited to that group.
That's awesome.
And that we are going to have our own Halperin Park here in Oak Cliff with all the marvelous things that are going to be happening for the community. But for me personally, it's completing a circle.
Okay.
Because when I left, or when the family left San Antonio, we were coming because my father had received, he was invited to be part of the construction of Interstate 35.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And
Okay.
so
Wow.
he was on the job
Okay.
that built
Wow.
I-35.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know in those days was that construction was done deliberate to separate the two communities of the west side of Oak Cliff and the east side of Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
And so even though that was a huge transport and, mega highway, especially in the 60s for Dallas, we didn't know the undertones of the destruction of the community. And so as time went past and we began understanding that, then to be invited to be on that advisory council, and that this same family
Wow.
is now part of bringing
It's
those
the reconciliation
communities
side of it.
back together.
Yeah.
And
that's
for
amazing.
me personally, it just finishes that circle.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's healing
amazing.
to the family too. Like it's just we got to have April on. Actually, one of our
She's an
earliest
amazing
episodes.
woman.
Yeah,
She is
she
amazing.
She's doing a lot for Oak Cliff. It's
Yeah.
it's really awesome to see. But yeah, one of her visions for this whole thing was reconnecting these communities.
The
That's one of the
Exactly.
main seems like pillars of the Halperin Park, and so that's been so cool hearing even that personal story
Yeah.
that you're on
Yeah.
that. What does that advisory council look like? Do you guys meet, or is it more just giving input to April when she asks for it?
So we meet
Yeah.
quarterly.
Okay.
We just recently had a meeting, and we give advice, whether
Yeah.
it's what are the programs that are going to come
Yeah.
into the park, giving her some leads on different program directors that they're looking to hire.
Yeah.
If we have anyone to recommend. There's going to be the Walk of Stars
Yes,
of
yeah.
Oak Cliff, and so we're reviewing all of the biographies and nominating,
Yep.
and of course it's going to go out to the community for their input, and so it's a lot of that kind of discussion, and it's different people from walks of life all over Oak Cliff.
That sounds like a fun project.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness!
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun! It's so fun. I love it.
And it's so fun to see it come to life. I mean, every day driving by it,
I know.
whenever
Yeah.
I do drive by it, it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
Or, that piece
There's
is
an
that's a-
amphitheater up
yeah,
there
there's
now.
something-
Yeah,
There's a-
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
That's great.
We need to take April up. She said we need to come and walk it with her someday. Have
Oh,
you
you
gotten
should.
to see it?
Oh,
recently?
yes.
Okay.
We got to see it
Okay.
firsthand. And it's just the whole space is being transformed.
Yeah.
And just thinking that there's a park above you when you're
Yeah.
driving underneath it is just,
It's-
to me, that whole engineering side is
It's pretty
amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
I'm fascinated to kind of change gears again by the pilgrimages you've taken on the Camino
Yes.
de Santiago. Could you tell us
Yes.
a little bit about
Yeah, what is that?
those trips?
Camino. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Camino de Santiago is they're the different ways that the great saint, Saint James,
Okay.
James the Great, and when Christ ascended into heaven, he gave the commission to all of the apostles, go and spread the good news. And so they went out into different parts of the world, and James the Great traveled up into the Spain.
Okay.
And there were different ways and different places that he traveled, and he ended up in Santiago de Compostela, and then that is where his body is buried. And so in the great cathedral, there is his tomb is there. And so these pathways are all a journey to Santiago, but it's a spiritual journey. It's a journey of strength. It's a journey of healing. It's a journey of meeting new people. It's the journey of life.
Okay.
That's really what it is. And so walked it with Miss Valdez, Estela Valdez, our school
cool.
principal,
That's
and
awesome.
and she and I walked it together, the two of us, the first time just by ourselves, and then the last time we took 12 people with us.
Oh wow.
And we walk
Oh,
over 100.
12. I love it.
We walk over 100 kilometers, and that way you can get your little Compostela, which is like your little merit badge,
Nice,
proving
okay.
that you really did
Yeah.
it. And you have a little passport, and you go into different little
To different
places and get it,
spots.
get it stamped. But we do 5 days, and we average 15 to 20 miles a day of walking.
Oh,
Wow.
that sounds amazing. I want to do this.
I know. This sounds amazing.
Spain?
Allie's
Yeah.
parents are doing it next year. I
What?
think they're going
Oh,
out
that's
there.
amazing.
But
Wait, James, we're talking James the Apostle?
James the Apostle, and James the Great. Yeah.
Is he brother? No, what?
is that Jesus' brother? I always forget
It
which
may
James is
have
which.
been
May have
one of
been.
his cousins.
Cousins.
Okay.
Okay.
It may have been a
okay,
cousin.
Okay.
They're not always real clear.
Yeah.
I think they were all related, but anyway.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But it sounds
that
like an
he's buried
amazing
there.
journey
Yeah.
that you just.
It is.
And some people go even further than 100 kilometers.
So
is that right?
it really begins in France. So
Okay.
you walk the true length of it, it's like over 300 kilometers.
Oh,
And
wow.
you walk
Oh,
over
my.
the Pyrenees, and then you're in Spain, and you cross all of Spain to get to Santiago.
Okay.
Because that's almost there at the seaside.
That sounds like such a
Sounds magical.
life-changing journey.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
walking for that many miles alone each day. But then I would think the places you stop along the way are really
Beautiful.
meant to kind of.
Okay.
You're off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we would stop at a little place,
course.
grab some food, and of course, the food is just magnificent. If we felt like drinking a beer, we had a beer. If we wanted a cup of coffee, we had a cup of coffee. It
Say
didn't
less.
matter,
Beer, coffee, hiking there. This is.
Where do Doug and I sign up for the
Yeah.
Camino? How do we?
Can I be one of the 12?
It's truly beautiful, and
That's
it is
awesome.
magical, and it's very spiritual.
That's awesome. So you said you're maybe preparing for another trip, or is
We
that
are
okay.
talking of walking again in March.
Okay. Wow. Is that with another group, or is that what
It
does
would-
that preparation look like? Is
So
that,
we prepare. Estella and I prepare by walking.
A lot,
I mean,
okay.
she is a walker. She does marathons.
Okay.
So she does the training, and I just follow her, and then I do the storytelling.
Okay.
And then we market it together, and
And
yeah.
you raised money the first trip.
The first
or-
time we
tell us about
raised
that.
$40,000, and so what we
Wow.
did with that money is that we came back to the school campus and created our own little. We had a grotto area that had been
Yeah.
forgotten,
Okay.
and so we just brought it back to life.
What is a
And
grotto? Sorry.
so a grotto is an area where people come together. This particular space is honors our Blessed Mother,
Okay.
and so we gather together for prayer, or we gather together
Nice.
to have meetings. Teachers can take their kids outside and have an outdoor classroom, especially when you're talking English and discussing novels or having that spiritual religious conversation,
Yeah.
theological conversation.
Sure.
It's nice to be outside and just have that fresh air, and just that just feels a special place.
You're grounded. You're touching soil.
Oh
you're like
my
somewhere. Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
Yes,
That's
you
something right.
are. Yes,
That's awesome.
You are.
So
Yeah.
you use some of this money for the grotto? You're
Yes,
saying? Okay,
we
okay.
completely reshaped it and gave
Cool.
it life and put a little roof over it, and just
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna jump gears again because
Jump 'em.
I'm all over
Hey,
the place
get-
today.
Where are we
but,
going? I can't wait.
You mentioned that you retired last year,
Yeah.
and have since come back to help consult a little bit.
Yes.
What keeps you motivated today to stay involved and to come back and do some consulting? And what kind of things do you get to look forward to nowadays, now that you're on the other side of retirement, but still doing some work?
So this is what has driven me since day one, and that's the children. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
not.
That's awesome.
That is just my honest. I mean, I can walk into that school and kids, there was Miss Torrez, the tough principal, about 30 years ago, and and when I tell you I was tough, I was pretty tough.
Yeah.
And so the alums have now brought their children back, and I've had a couple of my alums say, where's the old Miss Torrez? Where is she? I
Yeah.
said, I put her in a closet and I locked her up.
That is so
I said,
funny.
all I want to do is just love people. Can I just do that, please?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we like the other one.
That's
You're going
funny.
to have to go find her somewhere else.
Oh, that's so funny. So you've been able to actually have students bring their kids through the school.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, Lydia, as we were thinking about, I know you said you're consulting still with St. Cecilia. Are there any dreams or hopes for St. Cecilia as it's kind of moving more into the future? Things that people should know about? Yeah.
Well, this is an exciting time.
Yeah.
This Blue Ribbon Initiative that we're on right now is truly going to transform the school.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's going to really, I always felt like we were on the map, but it's just like,
a lot.
no, it takes a whole lot. And so to be able to do that and to know that your kids can do it and then to be able to market that, I think for the future of the school, we've been there 90 years. Well, I say let's be there another 90 years. And how are you going to do that? So you have to change. You have to not conform.
I know, you
Conform's
almost
not the
said
ro-
that. You almost
I
said
know.
I know.
Yeah, it's not conforming. It's changing. You have to evolve.
Yeah.
You have to, Chat
Adapt,
GPT,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
so how are we going to use that in our day-to-day world where you're developing curiosity, but yet developing these virtues where, there's responsibility here. So how do we do all that to create the kind of people that we want to be our leaders?
Yeah.
And we form saints and scholars. So how do you create that saint? And notice that that's the first word.
Yeah.
That good person, that really good person. And then you have the scholar who's going to have the intellect, the curiosity, but do it in a socially ethical way.
Sounds like a good program.
I'd say so.
No, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I think we're so thankful for your time on this, but also we're just excited that this exists in Oak Cliff. It sounds like just an amazing,
We invite you
amazing
to come
place.
and see
Yeah.
us.
We will. Thanks for your commitment to Oak Cliff,
Yeah.
too, and your many years of service to all the
appreciate
students that are now doing amazing things. So
Yes, they are.
And we'll see you around Halperin Park, too,
Yeah.
when it opens.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
fun. Well, Lydia, thank you so much for your time on the show today. Appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Great
And
to
thank you
meet
for
you.
what y'all are doing.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Hidden City. We hope you discovered something about Oak Cliff that you didn't know. If you enjoyed the show, I hope you subscribe to it on YouTube and then follow us on any of the podcasting platforms. Also, if you enjoyed it, please share with a friend. And thanks so much for tuning in.